In this video, we'll go over Sentinel value. A Sentinel value is a flag, a number, or a character that the user enters to indicate end of input. Let's look at this example. Write a program to prompt user to enter positive integers, and then your program will calculate the average of integers entered by the user. Now for this program, we don't know how many numbers the user will enter into the system, will enter as the input. But the user is asked to enter -1 as the Sentinel value, as an indication that the user is finished entering the positive integers. A Sentinel value cannot be a valid input. So in this example, we are asking the user to enter positive integers, and we are trying to find the average of those positive integers. So an invalid input would be, for example, -1 or any negative number. We have picked -1 as the Sentinel value. So let's write this program. First, declaring variables. So let's declare double sum and initialize it to 0. To find the average of the numbers, I need to find their sum. Also, I need an integer count, since we don't know how many integers are inputted by the user. We have to keep the count of those integers. We also need a variable to store the numbers, so int num as well. And now we are ready to prompt the user to enter integers, enter positive integers, and then you have to let the user know what is the Sentinel value. -1 to stop, and line. Now we read the number, cin, we'll read it into num. Now we are going to have a while loop to add up the numbers and find the average. So we'll start with while this num that's read is not equal to -1, because that's the stopping, that's the Sentinel value. If that's the case, then we are going to iterate through this while loop. We also need to check, just to be safe, that this number is greater than or equal to 0, right? The user might by mistake enter -5. -5 is not a Sentinel value, but it's not a valid input either. So if the values are greater than 0, then we are going to add it to the sum. Sum is equal to sum plus num. We're going to add this number to the accumulated sum so far. We are going to also increment the count by 1. So we have received one valid input, another valid input. And now we want to prompt the user once again to enter the next number, and that should be done inside the while loop. So we go inside the while loop, enter the next integer, let's say, enter the next integer, -1 to stop. We read it, and then we go back to the top of the loop. If the new number is -1, we are done with the loop. If it is a positive number, it is added to the sum and count is incremented. If it's a negative number, it's just ignored, right? Except -1. -1 terminates it. So we come out of this while loop, declare double average, and that average is equal to sum divided by count. Notice that this is a floating point division, since sum was declared as a double type, and then I can then display the average. See out the average is, and I've already included the IO manip, so I'm going to have fixed and then set precision to 2 decimal places, and then let's write the average out. That's it. So let's run this program. And enter positive integers, -1 to stop. Let's say I enter 5. then 4, that's 9 so far, and then 3, that's 12, and then let's have an 8 in there as well, so the total sum is 20, and then count is 4, so the average, let's enter -1. Let's stop the input. So I've entered 5, 4, 3, 8, then Sentinel number -1. The average should be 5.